Welcome to almost the last climb webinar, but guess what? We have a super fun bonus to announce at the end of the webinar. Oh my gosh, please remind me so we don't forget to announce a super fun bonus at the end of the webinar. There, I said it out loud, so let's hold each other accountable. You can post it, or any of the coaches can say it and shout it out loud. That would be so awesome. This week is all about focus, which is really one of those things that we hear about, we talk about, and boy, I know a lot of us endeavor to focus our attention. What does that mean in the big picture? How do we focus on one thing when that's not real life? When we have so many different hats that we get to wear, and there's so many different entities that are pulling us. We have our family, we have our church, we have our jobs, we have our volunteers, we have our purposes, we have our whys, we have our, we can go on and on and on. The beautiful thing is when you find your focus, then you stop making excuses, because your focus is your why. Your focus is, why are you doing it? Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Why did you become a parent? Because you fail one time at how you discipline your child. Does that mean you just give up, throw your hands, never mind, no good, bye-bye, I'm not going to do it? Well, no. You believe so wholeheartedly in that child and you being a mother or a father that you're not going to let one little obstacle or one little hiccup define your motherhood. Just like in our businesses, we need to figure out why we're doing Scentsy. And a lot of the times we want to go back to the beginning and remind ourselves, why did I start Scentsy? And then as you start and have these great different goals or visions and then you achieve them or something else happened, does your focus or your goal change, and if so, how? And that's what some of our coaches are going to share with when they ran into these different focus changes and bumps and bruises and all of that and how they overcame them. So we're going to start with Wendy from Alabama. Wendy, tell us about what does focus mean to you and how do you keep yourself on track towards your Scentsy goals?
Focus for me is a little bit different than most people because I have ADHD, like really bad. So when I think about focus, I think about the fact that I have to put an extra time process into that and create different systems that work for me. My focus is a lot of driven by my why. In my why, we were talking earlier today, my why has changed since I first joined Scentsy. And as my why changes, my focus shifts a little bit. And so anytime you're thinking, well, I'm not really motivated, what am I going to do? I kind of try to go back to my why, because if you can figure out your why and you can figure out your focus, it's going to help you eliminate excuses for not getting stuff done, for not picking that phone up, for not calling and getting orders or texting or whatever, however you work your business. When you've got that why and you focus on that why, it will allow you to set your goals and set your goal plan and kind of give you a visual of what you want to accomplish so you can keep focused on that and keep moving in your business. And one thing I've done that works well for me is I have checklists. And so I know, like, every day the first thing I do when I wake up is what a lot of us in Climb and Gym have been doing lately, is checking Ascent Academy. And just the minute I check Ascent Academy, I've got my checklist in my head going for what I need to accomplish that day, and that challenge is there. I set that as a daily challenge every day for me to get that part done. Whether it's something silly that I've already done, or if it's something that I'm going to do tomorrow, I still put it on for my challenge for the day so that I can mark it off as soon as I'm done with it. I like to take my checklist, I have checklists for everything from the time I book a party, for my days. They're essential to me to help keep my focus on working my business. So I really am bad about those because of my ADHD. I can, schedule a party with somebody and then forget, and that would be just awful. So I created all kinds of checklists from the beginning of time through what we do, today. And as my why changes and my focus changes, these checklists also kind of change along and kind of evolve as we're constantly changing. So, with your business, you really just need to figure out your why. And once you've got that why, it's going to drive the rest of your focus. It's going to drive the rest of everything that you do with your business, so that you can make sure that you're going forward and you're moving forward in your business, and you're not using excuses, and you're not, losing track of where you need to be. So those are my big things.
So remember, anybody, if you have questions, you can type them on the climbing gym, because we're not paying attention to all of the chat, etc. And that way all the climbers can be reminded that we're on the webinar live if you post a question or even a takeaway or a thought. Or Wendy, when you say you make your lists, what kind of lists do you make for, I would say, your daily business? You said you make a list for your parties. So give us an idea. What do you make lists for on a daily basis, or do you make a list once a week and then go from there? Or
my list evolves. I have different things that I do on different days, and again, keywords help me with those, like tip Thursdays, fun Fridays, warmer or wax Wednesdays. So those kind of key me in on what I'm doing for that day, and I always have like a running checklist. There are several people that put out great calendars at the beginning of the month. You'll see them post to different groups, those calendars that say, hey, just do this, this, and this. Because this is my full-time job, this is what I do all the time, my daily lists are a little bit different. So on Monday and Tuesday, Monday I may do one set of things, and Tuesday, I'm doing different things, like going to the bank and making deposits, or I'm putting in party orders, or I'm delivering samples to different parts of town. It just depends. Thursdays, Danette, this Thursday is my team day that I go on Thursdays and meet with team members and make deliveries in another city. So it's things like that that changes every day. And so I always keep like a little notebook going, or my handy dandy clipboard that goes everywhere with me, and I'll make little notes on it. So like I worked an event this weekend up in Nashville, and during the day, as I was meeting people, I would talk to them about different products, or I gave them samples of our laundry detergent and washer whiffs, and so I got their information, and I'm going to call them back this week. So I know if I do not write down, hey, Wendy, on Thursday, you need to call da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, I won't remember by Thursday. So I make sure that I write down all their information on my clipboard, and then as we get to Thursday, I can mark it off.
Okay, so the big takeaway, and I know many of us probably to some form of it, but maybe it'll help you keep your focus in your business and your daily endeavors, so you can be more present for your family and all the other activities that get to pull us. But maybe it is helpful for you to write down something that you're going to do every Monday, something that you want to do every Tuesday, and then Wednesday. And these do not have to be big time-consuming things, but if there was one thing that I would love to have known when I first started, was how important it was to get some kind of systems in place for everything, and one of our systems is our calendar. And if you get your calendar set up where Mondays you want to do this, Tuesdays da-da-da-da, then it helps you stay a little bit more focused, so you don't go, okay, I got to do something for my business, I'm going to click on a Scent Academy, and you read it, I don't feel like doing that today, because we have the human factor. We want to be motivated to do what we're doing. But that is why we always want to stay flexible, too. It's important for us to be flexible when we're doing our calendars, because we have a different mood. I mean, most of us are women. We do have these little moments where we don't necessarily feel up to doing some things, and so you've got to base it on your mood, because that's where your passion is going to drive you. So thank you for sharing your checklist and calendar, Wendy. So now we're going to go to Shannon Grant in North Carolina. And Shannon, tell us how do you find your best success in staying focused with your business? Just a minute. It doesn't show that you are muted, but you were. How about now? No. How about now?
Now can you hear me?
Yay! Yes.
Okay, great. Like she was saying earlier, I don't have like ADHD. I feel like I have, my husband will say I have Scentsy ADD, because I am constantly thinking. about what I can do in my Scentsy business. And the first thing that I really want to get out there is you have got to give yourself permission to pause and to breathe and to realize that you can't be perfect at every single thing. Because in the very beginning, I was looking at those YouTube videos and I was watching all these amazing superstar directors, and I'm like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then I try and do it that way, and I didn't want to cookie cut myself. I just had to find something that worked for me. And so something I think is really important about focusing is that you have to realize, like I said, you can't be perfect at everything, so therefore concentrate on what you do great and do it exceptionally well. And so if you are wonderful at fundraisers, then let your director know, I have killed these fundraisers lately. I'd love to share it with our team how I'm doing them. If you're good at parties, if you're good at, coaching, whatever it is. So I have finally decided, I look at the things that I'm really good at, and I really concentrate there. And then the things I really need help with, I'll get my other directors and I'll get my team to say, hey, I've got this great idea. Let's implement it. How can we make it come to life? And it's really helped me once I realized I couldn't be perfect in this. But I wanted to share something with you that really opened my eyes. And I am a mother of 4. I homeschool. I do Scentsy full time. And I am on the road all the time doing different things. So there's something that I think will kind of open your eyes, because I did a class in time management, and I almost cried when I realized that I didn't have a lot of time during the day. But there's something called a power hour. And I don't know if you guys do a power hour, but I encourage you to do that. So let me explain this to you. You have 24 hours in a day. No more, no less. I wish sometime I could stop time, but I can't. So what I do is, let me just show you this. This here is $24. This represents 24 hours in our day. Okay? So let's just say, for example, that we sleep, right? We usually sleep 7 to 8 hours. I know some of us get less, some of us get, more. But I'm going to say 7 hours, okay? So we're going to take out 7 hours. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Then we're left with 17 hours in our day. Well, a lot of us work full-time, or we're stay-at-home moms. We take care of the kids, or something that we do outside of the home for at least 8 hours a day, whether we're part-time, full-time, whatever. Your life has to go on. So for 8 hours in a day, we're going to take out 8 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Then, we have to eat. We have to have lunch, dinner, breakfast. Breakfast is the #1 meal of the day. And that would take an hour, let's say, if we ate everything. So take an hour out, and that leaves us 8 hours. And then we have to get ready in the morning. We have to get ready to go, to our work or to our job, to school, whatever it is, taking our kids to school. So that takes an hour usually to get us ready. So then we're left with 7 hours. Some of us work out after work. Some of us like to walk the dog. Some of us like to make phone calls. But we always have something that downloads us during the day. So that usually takes 1 hour. And that leaves us 6 hours. And then we usually have 1 to 2 hours worth of family time. So I usually give myself 2 hours for family time. And then I am left with 4 hours, right? And then after 4 hours, you ever got on Facebook and all of a sudden somebody sends you one of those Candy Crush notifications, and you get on Candy Crush and you look and your time's gone. You're like, man, I got stuck in Facebook world. Or, you get on the phone with someone and they just won't get off, and you learn how to use Slidell. So I usually give myself about 2 hours that I can waste during the day easily. And then, of course, I'm in the car a lot during the day, picking up my kids, running different Scentsy deliveries, all kinds of things. So I give myself an hour. So that leaves me with $1. This is your one magical hour. And once I realized this in my business, I was able to implement it every single day. And being that I, homeschool and I'm really busy with the kids, I'll break this 1 hour up into 15-minute increments. And I wrote down a couple of things that you could do, because a lot of people will say, well, I don't have 1 hour to sit down and just, hammer everything out. Well, instead, you could break it up into 15-minute increments, and you could do things like label your products, make samples, call 5 people, send emails, follow up, post on social media, search for events, walk your dog and put different catalogs in different people's, on their porch or hang them on their door, organize your things, your binder, brainstorm with another Scentsy sister or brother. Connect on Facebook with some of the people that have liked your post or commented on your post. Just right before this, I was doing my power hour the last 15 minutes of the day, and I sent somebody a message for sharing my camper post. And I asked her, I said, hey, thank you so much for sharing my post. It really means a lot for you to share my business. And I ended up getting a basket party out of it. So that was really income producing for me. You can watch training videos. You can network with other people, leave catalogs different places, educate yourself, read books, write thank you letters. I can go on and on. So you can kind of see that it's really important to use a power hour 3 times a week at least, and your business will grow exponentially. Another thing that I do is I have a binder, just like Wendy was talking about earlier. But for example, I'll just show you real quick. So example, this is like my weekly plan. So my team's seen this 1,000 times, but Monday I might focus on basket parties and fundraising. So my power hours that day, I'm going to focus on those. Tuesdays will be like hostess coaching. So for Monday, my basket parties, I have like a little form that I use, and it tells me where my basket parties are. And then for Tuesdays, hostess coaching, then I have another form that I use, and it tells me whether I've hostess coached and what I've done with them. So different days, Wednesday PRV, and it talks about different events, and each one's color-coded, and I go to it and work on my power hours those days. So that is how I continue to focus every single day, because I believe that whenever your passion wakes you up in the morning and you're ready to go, that you will absolutely find that how to get to your why. That's it.
So great. And when you talk about your checklist on your hostess coaching, can you post that on the Climbing Gym and the files? The check off that you do to coach? Because I think that would be helpful to help some of us focus. I mean, any of those documents I think would be super delicious.
Okay.
So, and then my other thought when you were talking about, and I loved at the beginning when you said, hey, you know what, just get over comparing ourselves and trying to be perfect. And, I really do love the mantra where, you know what, you don't have to do or be perfect in order to make a difference in your daily life. You don't have to be perfect to make a difference in your business. The most important thing is that you do something every single day for your business, and ideally you do want it to be income producing. A lot easier said than done, but if you're going to take your business to the next level, it's about finding a way to integrate it with the most comfort, natural abilities you can. And like Shannon was saying, when you're passionate about it, it will happen. If you're not passionate about it, guess what? You're the only one that can make yourself motivated. Your upline is not responsible for motivating you. Your team is not responsible for motivating you. Cincy Home Office is not responsible for motivating you. You are the only one. So find what it takes to get your juices flowing, and we've talked about that before, but we can't underestimate the power of that when we're trying to stay focused on what our why and what that big vision is. And if you really want it, you're going to make it happen. If you don't know, then you'll make excuses. And you can't make money and excuses at the same time, so you might have to do a little bit of soul searching, a little tough loving, but make it happen, because look at what passion and that vision of focus has done for some of our climbing coaches, because they're living proof. So with that, let's hear from Carol. Carol, share with us how you keep your focus, and what is it that when you have been off task, or if there was some things that made you get loss of focus, how'd you come back? What did you do?
Word M-E. It's a little word, but it's a big thing. Are you there?
Now, yeah, are you? Now we can hear you, because I didn't have you unmuted.
Okay. My why and my focus was me. The little word M-E, but capitalize that M-E. It really does a lot of damage sometimes. I had to refocus and say, not me, but thee. So what can I do for thee? When I took the numbers out of the equation and looked at the people and who I was going to connect with, who I could help, that made a big difference. So that focus of being that butterfly, that social butterfly, flying around, meeting people. I had 3 events this week. If I looked at the numbers, I was a little disappointed. But I never look at the numbers anymore, because that's not my focus. It's who did I touch? Who did I meet? Who can take me somewhere else, or what can I do for thee? I ended up meeting Miss Pennsylvania, which was an awesome thing, her and her mom, and I'm hoping to add her into our business. She is looking for different things, but again, if she doesn't come in the business that we talked about, it's not about that. My focus was always on multitasking. I went to a women's conference and found out that my multitasking makes me like Gumby or like Silly Putty, if anybody remembers that. Being pulled, being stretched to no end. My arm going one way, my leg going another, my mind going in another direction. What do I accomplish? I never finish something. So maybe that, she was talking about the ADHD and the AAD, and that maybe I have a little bit of that. But when I took the goal and changed it around of give more than I take, then things started coming. The blessings were coming. The things were coming. But it wasn't always the material things. And I've learned that the goals out there that I set, if I set them and I work towards them, stop worrying about the numbers. I was doing more checking on my workstation with what my team and I were doing than I was accomplishing anything. So wasted time. That $24 she showed, I don't think I have $1 left at times. It might be a quarter if I could change it into fourths. So what are we going to do? I'm going to focus on getting more organized, putting things together, accomplishing things. My glass is half full, not half empty. My mind needs to be more relaxed to be able to do what I do well. I am a very good person at being out there organizing events. I have a coloring party coming up, and I theme things like be a kid, come relax. I'm looking for the words that are key, not a lot. Sometimes they're very wordy, but looking for keys that will relate to people and focus in on those. I focus in on my Facebook. If any of you see, I have a lot of things I post and words. I look for things. I seem like I've wasted a lot of time, so focus. Focus on cutting back the things that you're wasting time on and concentrate on the things that are productive. What's going to produce that connection, that loyalty, that trust that you're going to get from your customers. And even if they're not, you've been blessed for the day because you never know what you've helped that person with. You might have left them with a smile or something else. So my focus has completely changed, and my goals have completely changed. Yes, I love the trips. I love the goals. I am an achiever, but sometimes that can be more harmful than good. So we need to sit back, look at ourselves. If you have to, make a list. Sometimes I make lists. I divide them in half. This is the pros, this is the cons. What am I doing? What am I wasting? What am I accomplishing? But in the end, can you lay your head down at night and say, I've done good for someone else. I've helped that person. I've helped my team. I go in and post to them personally. Different things, different people need, like cuddling. It's like your children. So you're cuddling this one in one way, you're cuddling this one in another. Sometimes I get very pulled by that. But to me, that's what's important. Seeing that success, seeing someone smile. I had someone send a message today, and I said, you know what? I get more joy in hearing you say that you love the fragrance in your house, in your home, that you're enjoying, than a lot of things. You cannot put a price on those things. So what is your focus going to be? Stand up in the mirror in the morning. Look yourself in the mirror and say, what am I going to do today? Am I going to be half full? Am I going to be full? Am I going to be so full that I'm overflowing to give to others? Or am I going to be drained and my glass sitting having a pity party? I would rather be overflowing, because if we're overflowing, we can take in and take in and take in. But if you don't give it out, what good is it? So my focus has completely changed. And my ministry is to be out there and be the hands extended that God wants me to be. And when that focus is there, I feel that I'm a winner all the way.
That's so great, Carol. And you know, when you said that you don't focus on the numbers anymore, you know, I think that's really powerful and a lot easier said than done. But once you start taking the numbers out of this whole entire business to some degree, then all of a sudden we can focus more on the person. And this business is a people business, relationship business first. And we've heard it over and over, oh, this is a numbers game, and you just sponsor. But if you're starting to look at the numbers, then you're going to start treating people as numbers too, right? And we all know that's not very authentic, or does that create longevity in your business? So really good point. So I'm going to unmute everyone, and you guys all played into the cow so perfectly. And I hope I got you unmuted. It's not giving me the cue that says you're muted, etc., but we'll find out. But our cow this week plays on how do you stay focused. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a list of all the things that you do that you can think of. I mean, you make a list of 1,000 things if you can. Doesn't matter. Just be real. A list of all the things you do for your business. Make a complete list. What all do you do for your business, whether it's daily, which might be an easier thing for you to start with. Make a list of all the things you do every day, or you can just start the running list. Like right now, I listen to webinars on Monday nights, or I listen to the recording of the webinars on Thursdays, or what have you, or I have my one-to-one calls on Wednesdays. Those things you know, write all of those things down. And when you get that list, which really could take you a while, then put a little tiny star by the ones that are income producing. So you're going to make this big old list of all the things that you know that you do for your business. And then if you know that somehow, some way is something that you do to bring money in, or PRB, or commission, or bonus, etc., then star it. Those are your income producing ideas. Then when you get that complete, show it on the climbing gym, and then all of us climbing coaches will glance at it and simply give you a little feedback, because I promise we've been there, on activities that are income producing and not. If they're not income producing, then do they need to be done? The answer is yes. But when you start sharing them, we're going to find all of these lists that all of us are going to post throughout the week of the things that we could be doing and adding to a list on a regular basis, so we don't have a lot of busy work. You know what busy work is when I'm going to use a teacher as an example. A teacher would just give you a handout to kill time. Just, oh, stay busy. We don't have time for this. Or you're not really gaining anything from it. It's why are you learning type questions. So when you star them, then you get to review, and you don't need to post or anything, but review the ones that weren't starred, and then you ask yourself, is this beneficial to my business? You know, if the answer is no, cross it out. Guess what? You just freed up your list a little bit. But most importantly is make a list of all the things you do, and then star the ones that produce income somehow, some way. And then I'm reading your post a little bit, and Shannon, they love your workbook and would love for those documents to be shared as much as you have online to the files in the climbing gym, or as much as you have on your computer. And with that, I want to tell you about our super fun bonus. We will not end the climbing gym next week. It will not be our last week. The reason why is we wanted to give you a bonus week for all of those of you stuck with it. Ooh, it is coming from Carol. You just lit up. Whatever that honk honk is, it sounds like a truck going by. That's okay. No worries. It was kind of fun and cheery. So what you guys are being granted is a free week in the gym, basically. And we have 2, not 1, but 2 of our group's superstar directors. They're 2 of our newest achieving, for the most part, superstar directors. And they're going to do a live feed, and we'll tell you who they are as the week comes closer to next week. They're going to do a live feed with interaction, and you'll get all the scoop. So there will not be a webinar this time next week, but we will end our climbing gym first round the following Monday, and I want to say that is Monday. What is that? Is that the 2nd? Anyway, it's the, oh, right, I have it right here. Monday, May 2nd. Yeah, that will be our official celebration week. Bring everything together and find out not just how to celebrate team members, but ourselves. So next week, there will not be a webinar at the same time, same place, but we will have 2 special Superstar Director speakers sharing a little bit about how they have knocked out all 8 of these topics from the TED Talk that our success program has been driven on, or the climbing gym has been driven on success. So you guys can all hear some ideas on when you get to go through it. So if you don't have any other questions, because I don't see any other questions, try your guts out to find and stay focused. And if it helps you, chat with your upline to see, you know what, this is what I think my goal is, but if you're not sure, then he or she should be able to walk you through it to a way that really strikes a nerve, so you'll start moving mountains to conquer it and achieve it, which will help us stay focused. So until next week's super fun guest speaker, make it a great week and keep on climbing. You're almost there. So great chatting with you. Bye-bye.